Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to your new favorite podcast, the Undead Ninjas. It's your boy Diamond Doc, and guess what movie we just watched?
Brightburn.
Brightburn. Now, from the start, this movie caught my attention just because it's an evil super boy man type creature. Alien, E.T.
Basically, it's evil Superman, but you basically get to see him go off the rails, down and down and down into that descent where he just sort of gives up his humanity in exchange for what he has.
This might not sound that crazy, but I was rooting for him.
By the end of it, I felt like at this point...
Because, you gotta remember, it's not like he was a human to begin with. This was his destiny.
True, and by the end of it, it felt as if, you wanted him to just kind of let that part of his humanity go.
Okay, well, bro, you're already at the end. We haven't even got to the beginning.
Okay, fine. Then
Let's
start from the top.
Jesus.
Fine, let's start from the top then. Okay,
that sounds like my girl's on top. Never mind.
Okay, so we're going to start from the top.
Okay, let's go. So, I can't remember their names anymore. Kyle and Tori. Kyle and Tori are married. They've been having sex. They've been trying to have this baby. Don't laugh. You're so immature. You hear sex and he's like, oh.
They've been trying to have a child for a
They've
very
been
long
trying to
time.
have a child, and I love the pan into their bedroom because you see like
all the different family photos.
You see the infertility books.
Yes, those.
They're really trying to have this kid, and they can't. When all of a sudden one night they were trying to get their freaky Ricky Missy Elliott on, and a spaceship just crash lands in their backyard, and this is where the story starts. The mom gets her little baby boy. And I guess they're both happy in the beginning.
Yeah,
they're both really happy. The dad takes him on trips and things,
hunting trips. The mom gets to paint, happily in the living room and then all throughout the house. So I mean, it's just they're blissfully happy with this gift that's basically been dropped into their lap. So by the time he becomes a teenager of sorts.
Which is 10 years later. They do a whole little
montage of sorts.
The in-game skip is what I'm going to call it now.
The in-game skip.
It's the in-game skip. When you skip ahead too many years, I don't like it. So 10 years later, I would say he's in middle school?
Middle school, 6th, 7th grade.
I would say he's in middle school, and so his mom catches him sleepwalking. To I'm just gonna say the barn cellar.
Okay.
Because it's underneath the barn where they have this thing. We're gonna call it a thing.
Okay.
They just have this thing. It's glowing
red.
Bright red, and he's just constantly yanking at it. He can't open it yet because it's just the beginning of his powers.
Yeah.
He hasn't learned what's going on. He doesn't know what's going on. It's kind of like, it's almost like
he's in a trance state. Basically, he was just trying really hard to
it's
open it.
Almost like this movie is almost like his powers are going through puberty. As the movie progresses, he gets stronger. So he's yanking at this door. The mom catches him. He falls out of the trance. And one thing that I thought was really shady.
Okay.
The mom. By the way, guys, spoilers. If you haven't seen the movie, go watch it right now. Just go watch the movie.
It's definitely worth the watch.
And then come back here. Anyways, with that being said, you gotta let them know.
Of course.
With that being said, the mom lies to the dad. He was like, "What happened?" She's like, nothing. Everything's fine.
Nothing happened.
And that's what slightly sparks the dad's interest in what's going on.
The whole, nothing really happened. It was just middle of the night, sleepwalking, no big deal. I didn't just catch my son trying to break into the barn cellar to get at something we hid so many years ago. Like nothing at all. But Yeah, it starts off really, really slow, but for such a short movie,
I wouldn't say really, really slow. I mean, it's
like minute things.
I wouldn't even call it a slow burn because it's only 90 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, as soon as he falls out of the sky, it skips to 10 years later, and he's already trying to get to the spaceship.
Right.
Now we don't know why at this point, but he's trying to get there.
Yeah.
So I would say it moves fairly quick. It keeps your attention. It keeps your attention.
Mm-hmm.
There's not really any dull moments in the movie.
Nah.
I can't think of any.
No, I mean the pacing was pretty even. I mean even by the end, it feels like it was just not enough.
Honestly, it's paced like a James Gunn movie.
Oh, of course.
Even though he didn't direct it, he only produced it.
Mm-hmm.
It's paced like a James Gunn movie. Honestly.
I mean, it was just by the end of it, you wanted more. You wanted to see where else it was gonna go.
And here you go talking about the end again. You know what? Friendship over.
Friendship over.
Friendship over on the podcast. Okay, so after everything happens with him trying to get to the spaceship, I think it's the next morning, or it didn't really give us time sequence. I'm just going to say the next morning. The dad finds him chewing on a metal fork.
Yeah, hearing the metal crinkling in his mouth. I mean, just the oh god, man, that was cringe. That was very cringeworthy. It was just just feeling the metal just at the top of his mouth, and then he's chewing on it, and
my teeth hurt. My teeth were hurting after that.
Like it was very unnerving. Very unnerving. And then like he's pulling it out of his mouth, and you see this mangled piece of metal in his mouth, and you're just like, what the hell? Mm-hmm. But of course, by that point, there's a bunch of other unnerving things that have happened by that point. So it was just, the build up to that particular scene was just, wow, like, dang.
And then that's when they find the photos of the girls in the lingerie and swimsuit models.
But then they also
they have surgical diagrams and like pictures of human organs.
Oh, that was so...
And the mom is constantly trying to just
write it off
as, oh, he's a boy.
He's just curious, or he's just trying to
understand. I think the light, you know how like you think you turn the light on, but then it turned right back off?
Right.
I think she had that moment where when she saw the organs, she was like, fuck.
Yeah.
But then she was like, but he's a boy, like
he's just going through the motions.
Deep inside, she's really trying.
I have to admit, throughout the whole thing, she tried really hard to kind of be the mom, try to protect him from even himself, going so far as to completely deny that maybe his hinges are a bit, loose, things are kind of not right upstairs. And, and I think that was kind of the overall thing, a mother's love, like how far would you go to protect your son or your daughter, even from themselves, when you know that they're capable of so much devastation or so much, good.
Also, let's talk about the human side of him.
Okay.
That shows up when the girl, Caitlin.
Yes.
The girl that he likes at school. So he has feelings. He feels like all of us guys, okay? He likes this girl named Caitlin. I don't know why. She looks like never mind. She ain't that cute.
We're not even gonna go.
But anyway, she has a crush on him, and they have this trust fall.
Like a big misunderstanding after.
They have this. Oh no! I'm skipping. I'm sorry. I'm skipping.
Because remember,
he shows up at her house. But he's hiding behind the curtains, and a gust of wind came, and she got a quick glimpse of his face, and it freaked her the hell out.
To the point.
And then the next day, they were doing this little trust fall circle,
and she lets him.
And it came to his turn to be in the circle, and when it came to her lifting him up, she moved out the way. And you could see the hurt and devastation in his eyes.
Yeah, that feeling like, wow, like just that surprise and that anger at the same time.
And then as she's forced by the teacher to help him up.
Oh yeah.
He crushes her. He crushes and snaps her hand
in two like a twig. Oh man, that sucks. Oh man, that sucks. I mean, just to have your wrist or your hand crushed with such astonishing force. I mean,
yeah, and all he got was a 3-day suspension, and he gets to talk to his aunt, who's just so happened to be a school counselor.
Yeah,
the only school counselor. Which I'm like, what type of school are you in?
Conflict of interest, anyone?
But yet. You're in the middle of Kansas.
Yeah.
You're in Brightburn, Kansas.
Right.
Which is probably 500 people, so you probably got like 40 people at your school. Let's be real.
Give or take.
I lived in Kansas. It's small. I could walk from Walmart to Target in 2 minutes, and it was on the other side of the city.
Damn. Okay.
Small. So, what's the next one?
I mean, right after that happens, of course, if I remember right, he was really trying so hard not to, man, what happened?
Oh!
Jeez, I forgot that.
You know what happened? I got you.
What happened?
I got your back, bro.
I appreciate that you got
so
my back.
That night, he goes back to the barn.
Yes.
And she finds him. No, he breaks it, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I think he broke it open this time.
Yeah, he broke it open
and
was trying to...
and he's levitating.
Yes.
Like he was levitating...
Right next to...
Right next... Still not inside the cellar, but he's levitating right over it. Mm-hmm. And you can hear... I would just call it a chanting...
Like all those voices...
A chanting, a whispering chant.
Yes.
That he hears. And the mom is just... You could tell she's terrified. But then again, a mother's love.
Right.
We go back to a mother's love, and she's there for him when he falls.
Right.
Literally. Like she's there for him when he falls.
But then when he falls, he lands on a piece of the ship.
He gets cut by the ship.
Yes.
And that's when we found out.
He has a weakness.
Wow. Superman has kryptonite.
This guy has the material from
whatever that's made from. Yes. I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to make a Brightburn 2 and say, "Oh, it was made out of kryptonite metal."
Nah.
It's James Gunn. You never know.
I don't think they would go that far. And besides, it was supposed to be a bit of a what if. The other. Going the other way from. Instead of Superman grows up to be this great big hero. Like, well, what if he went the other way? Mm-hmm. And of course, there is a DC comic story called Red Sun where. This more or less happens. Instead of landing in Kansas, though, he lands in Russia, of all places, and he turns out to be an entirely different superhero, entirely different person.
Also, this is where in the movie he finds out what those words are saying.
Yes,
they're saying, "Take the world."
Take the world. Yes,
which is. So powerful.
I mean, the idea that what if he had been sent? What if he had been sent to that planet on purpose to simply conquer it? Not because it was an altered course and it was just purely accident that he landed there. No. What if he landed there intentionally? What if he was sent there to take that world and make it his own, basically? Mm-hmm.
And that's when the mom decides to tell him that you're not adopted. We found you.
Yeah. And of course
and she still doesn't say that you fell from the sky in a rocket ship. She just said, we found you in our backyard. Something to that nature.
Yeah. But nothing more specific.
And this hits him hard.
Yeah, he does not take it well. I mean,
and this is his this is the first time that we see an actual power,
an actual outburst,
and that's his heat vision.
Man,
when he showed that he had heat vision,
and then heat vision in the hands of an emotionally charged, prepubescent teen. I mean, wow. I mean, just thinking about it, I'd be scared of him. I'd be scared of him on that alone. Not even the super strength. Just the idea that like I can literally sear you in two with a look. Mm-hmm. And I mean, and of course, kids are very impressionable. So I mean, the idea of ticking off a kid with that sort of power.
And he's ticked. So he went to go visit Caitlin.
Yeah. Going so far as to,
Yeah, he brings her flowers. And honestly, I believe that these were true feelings and true intentions.
Yeah, like he genuinely did
because he still didn't he's a creepy kid. He's not trying to scare her on purpose.
No, of course not.
This is his way of showing her that he likes her. He brought flowers, but what really ticked was like, my mom said I can't talk to you.
Oh, don't worry, I'll take care of that.
Exactly.
That was
he said,
just...
don't worry, I'll take care of that.
Ooh.
And she turns her head and she turns back, he's not there. But the flowers in her lap.
Oh man.
And
very stalkery.
So her mom's still at work.
Mm-hmm.
She works late night at like a
diner of sorts.
At a diner, thank you. I was gonna say restaurant, but diner is perfect. And this is the first time we see him in a mask and cape.
Yes.
And also, let me rewind just a bit. Now, remember his fascination with Wasp.
Ooh, that's right, yeah.
The mask looks like a wasp.
Yes, it does.
That
was eerie. Just very... That imagery is
and it's the first time he actually used his symbol to kill someone.
Yes. I think you see that in... you see that he starts writing it.
He writes it in his journal
a lot.
I would say 1 million times. Just to throw a number out there.
Almost in a very obsessive manner. And I mean, it was just so... Like it was etched into...
But now, on his side, it didn't mean Brightburn yet.
No.
It was Brandon Briars. Right? Brandon? His name's Brandon Briars.
Yeah. No...
Brandon.
Yeah,
Brandon's his name, bro.
Yes, Brandon's his name.
Hey.
Forgot the kid's
You're
last
fired.
name.
You're fired.
You're fired. Tell me I'm fired.
You're fired me from... Okay.
Yeah, I'm firing you. I'm firing you. It's the other way
Come
around.
up with new ideas. So, Brandon Briars, he writes that in his name. He writes that in his notebook several times, which eventually leads to Brightburn.
Exactly.
Even though nobody uses Brightburn...
What's the name of the town?
No one even says Brightburn in the movie. I don't believe no one says Brightburn, and they definitely don't say it in reference to him. Not even he says it.
No.
Even when the police are investigating, it's like, oh, Brandon Briars.
Right.
That's what they knew it by.
Basically, by that point, yeah.
Yeah. So he basically kind of stalks the mom for a minute or two, by writing his little BB
all throughout,
all
along the glass.
Every inch of the glass had BB on it.
Yeah,
and she sees it, freaks out, and he
decides to
flips shit on her.
Yeah, he straight up terrorizes her in the worst way. I mean, from showing up and kind of stalking her like some evil gazelle or whatever, and then. Like
an evil gazelle?
I see the best way I can do it.
Is that the best?
Fine, an evil what? Like an evil lion or some shit. I mean, he straight up stalked her through that diner. Literally, one thing after another went wrong. I mean, the light above her went out.
And she got cut all on her face. Her eye was messed up.
She even had a piece of glass in her eye, and I even liked how they filmed that scene. Her taking that out of her eye.
Oh yeah, that was gruesome.
And then going so far as to kind of show you how she can kind of see but not really see. It was just so terrifying because in an instance like that, you want to see 2020. You want to see what's coming. Mm-hmm. Especially, I mean, even if you're injured, you still want to at least be able to know what's coming at you, And of course, she starts running and, she makes her way all the way to the back vault, the the walk-in freezer that's in the back, and she gets in, closes it, and tries her best to just kind of hope and pray that that's enough to hold him. But no, close. He freaking
boy got laser beams in his eyes.
And what had to be the most terrifying and most gut-wrenching scene, just the idea that he's sitting there just searing the door slowly with his heat vision down the middle, and then right when it gets to a point, he just rips it apart, and like you see
over.
him,
it's over.
20 feet away.
It's over. He's 20 feet, then he's 0 feet in literally
a
split second.
And then, just straight crushes her.
Going into the next day, his aunt, he's not cooperating with his aunt,
pretty much.
And she's like, "Look, if you don't say something, I have to give a weekly report to the authorities and to the principal.
Right.
So if you don't say anything to me, I can't help you. Help me.
Right.
Like, basically.
Okay.
And he gets pissed again.
Of course.
So after school, way after school, it's nighttime.
By this point, yeah.
He shows up at her house.
Unannounced.
And mind you, she's by herself. Her husband is at the bar.
Right.
Drinking with his dad.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay.
Her husband's at the bar drinking with Brandon's dad. Because they're best friends.
Oh, man.
I mean, because, the aunt and the mom, sisters.
Right.
So, naturally, they're best friends.
At this point.
The two husbands are best friends.
Okay.
And he stalks her, and it's weird. It's creepy. She says, go home. All this. He made a snarky comment, I believe.
And I think that kind of...
Well, he said, thanks. He said, like, thanks for the ride or something?
No.
It's something weird to where, like, I guess he expected her to take him home.
No, he expected her to let it go. Because he doesn't want his folks to find out that...
Well, yeah, I know that.
Yeah.
I could have sworn he said something really snarky in between there. I can't remember. But...
No, because his uncle would give him the ride later. Taking him home or something like that. So I'm thinking...
Nah, his uncle didn't give him a ride.
So it was the aunt that gave him a ride.
No one gave him a ride. He walked. But the uncle, as he's walking home, he left the aunt alone.
Yeah.
He's walking home, and somehow, like I say, he's an alien.
Right.
Somehow he runs into the uncle driving. Now, mind you, the uncle's had a few beers, and
man, that was just horrible. Like, just the fact that he's a little drunk. He's furious with his nephew because he sees him, and his nephew's just acting completely off. Like, just not himself.
No, oh my god,
yeah.
No, I ruined the whole podcast.
Not the whole podcast.
No, okay, not the whole podcast. I got this mixed up. So I'm making quotations with my fingers, guys.
In case you haven't noticed.
He left. But when Noah, the aunt's husband, comes home, he's in the closet.
Oh.
He's hiding in her closet the whole time.
Yes.
And you were right. He tries to give him a ride home.
Tries to like drag him home to his dad.
And as they're in the car, he escapes the truck, and all of a sudden he's in front of him.
Yeah.
And he desecrates that truck.
Oh man, it was horrible the way he did him. And I mean the uncle didn't really do anything other than just what an uncle would do. Just try to discipline him, try to tell him what he's doing is wrong.
But you can't do that at the Brightburn.
No, you can't.
That's a no-no.
And it was horrible. It was just, oh man, just the pulling the truck straight up and then dropping it straight down, only for his jaw to be sawed in half. It was horrible. His
jaw was broken in half.
Completely dislocated
from the impact of the steering wheel.
Yeah, that was horrible. Like,
from the steering wheel.
Just, oh man, it was so gruesome. And then like him trying to talk after it happened, and then realizing he can't talk because his jaw is no longer attached. And then to go even further, he dips his finger in the blood and writes out the symbol on the sidewalk right next to the car.
So at this point, it's this black cop that's been, I guess he's the lead detective for all these cases.
Mm-hmm.
And he finds the BB on the window.
Right.
Somehow it's only one there.
Somehow.
And then he also finds the BB from the blood written on the side, written in the street from the truck crash. And when he saw the truck crash pictures and the BB, he was like, he kind of thought, he said, I've seen this before. He pulls out the other file for Caitlin's mom. Mm-hmm. Pulls out her file.
Figures out that they're linked.
And figures that they're linked. And he's like, and you could just see the look on his face. Like,
just the knowledge that he has an idea of where this is going and who he needs to go see next. So, of course, he makes his way over to the Briar's home. Mm-hmm. And
the mom being a mom.
Trying really...
Mom being a mom. At first, it was like, she was like, oh, hey, how you doing? And it was like, where's your boy? And she's like, get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
Like, it flipped.
Completely.
Like her temper could be, if she was a murderer, it'd be just as worse as his temper.
Right.
Because, damn, she could flip.
Right. But, I mean, by that point, it was just... She was trying so hard. And, of course, the husband. I mean, the husband was also really trying to kind of get her to see that, okay, how can you not see? And what made this movie shine really was the relationship between the parents. The fact that they are trying so hard to, be thankful for this gift.
Well, hold on. Before you get there.
Okay.
There's one more part. Well, there's a couple more parts, but before you say that, because I know where you're going with that.
Okay.
So when they find out about Noah's death, who was who he just killed in the truck,
the
uncle. Well, no, he's not the uncle.
Okay. All right. Well,
I don't know how you black people do it in your families.
Wow.
It's not an uncle.
Bro, you light skinned.
It's like an uncle-in-law.
Bro, you lighter than me. You still black, so shut up.
Anyway. All right. So when they're breaking the news to Brandon that Noah's dead,
okay,
he does not react at all. He has no care in the world. And
he sees the blood on his shirt.
And the debt. No.
He saw the shirt. He saw how it looked. Remember, he came.
I thought that was after.
No, remember after he came home, he walked.
Brandon was in the shower.
Yes,
Brandon was in the shower, and the dad found the shirt behind the drawer,
dresser and
dresser
and
drawer.
He saw, and of course, the dad sitting there going, "How can like what is this?"
And then he takes it to the dad takes it to the mom. Mm-hmm. The mom doesn't want to believe it yet again, mm-hmm. And that, I mean, it's throwing a wrench in their relationship at this point, because he wants to, he's done with it at this point,
right? And
so they're in the kitchen, and like I was saying, they break the news to him that he's dead. He doesn't react. The father tries to get physical, mm-hmm. But he gets pushed through the wall.
It just gets pretty much thrown through the wall.
He gets through like the first layer of sheetrock.
Yeah, definitely one violent shove.
It's one very violent shove through like the first part of the sheetrock.
Yeah,
like he definitely tears a hole in there.
And it's so crazy how the dad just kind of shrugged it off, like
he shook.
Yeah, he shook at that point. He was shook.
He shooketh him. He shooketh him to his bone.
Yeah, I mean, it was just amazing. He did it, and then it was just kind of like, I can't believe you just did that to me. What the hell, And it was just so. It was in that moment that he just kind of realized, man, he is not.
But still, somehow the mom convinces the dad to take him on a hunting trip. And, oh my God, this is probably the scariest part. And nothing really scary really even happened. But when they were hunting, mm-hmm. Brandon was looking away. Mm-hmm. And the dad put that sniper rifle to the back of his son. Well, he didn't touch him with it, but he aimed down sights at the back of his son's head.
And it was
a kill shot. Any person take that, that's a kill shot. Mm-hmm. All it said was, pew!
It bounced completely off.
And nothing. And the son looked back. And I almost shit myself.
I would have in that moment. Like, that was so... It was gut-wrenching because the dad figured, okay, this needs to be done. He can't be stopped. Mm-hmm. He's getting out of control. I don't know what else to do. I love him. He's my son, but, you know, what else am I to do?
And he ends up killing him with the heat vision.
Oh, yeah, friggin' right straight through his head.
Straight through.
Oh, man.
Like, you have no
And then the son didn't
chance.
seem to... And then Brandon didn't seem to show any emotion with the fact that he had done it. So it pretty much led further to the conclusion that he was slowly shedding parts of his humanity away. And, you know, with the more kills, with the more feeling like you're a god and whatnot among insects, the way Magneto had said it in X-Men 2.
Oh, here we go again.
No,
just playing.
The idea that he is a god among insects, that was his mindset, and the fact
and he knew it.
And he knew. He felt it.
He told the aunt when they were in a session that I'm superior.
Yes, and and more to the point, it was just the idea that, like, watching him kill his dad, it didn't seem to faze him the way it should have. I mean, yeah, for a moment he had a moment's pause, but it just didn't. You didn't see that lapse, that moment where it was just kind of like, man, I just killed my dad, you know, like what? So of course he's upset and he figures I might as well just go back home to finish the deed. But by this point, the cops are already, you know, there.
Well, okay, so the sheriff goes to the house to talk to the mom again.
Yes.
Shows her the pictures of the BB.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, the mom goes and gets his notebook. Mm-hmm. And she sees the BBs, and she also sees Take the World.
Yes.
In his notebook. And that's when she's like,
this is it.
Oh, shit.
And I think that was a horrifying conclusion for her to come to. The fact that her son may not be salvageable, may not be able, you know, to be, helped. And of course, if I remember right, there was a moment before this point when he confronts her mom. When he confronts his mom about what had happened.
No, it's after.
It's after that? I thought
because she calls. Because remember, she comes to realization. Yeah. And then she's scared for her husband. Right. So she calls his cell phone.
Of course
But Brandon answers. Mm-hmm. And tells him that Kyle is gone.
Yep. And man.
And he returns home.
Ooh, not happy in the slightest.
And destroys that house.
And I love the way it's filmed, where you don't focus on him. It's more her running through it's more her trying to, you know, run for safety in the house. And he's shredding that house. One swoop after another.
You know what that reminds me of? You know that effect that they use? What? You know what that reminds me of?
What did that remind you of?
Paranormal Activity. When him and the girl were playing Bloody Mary.
Okay.
And he opens the door, all you see is... And it's just these little... It's just like these really quick shadows. Yeah. Going straight through...
It did kind of feel
like... It's just as terrifying then as it is now. Exactly, that.
Yeah. And I mean, even with the focus being on the mom, just the idea that, like, he's either missing on purpose or he's just missing her by bare seconds.
I don't think he truly wants to kill his mom. At this point, I don't think he wants to kill his mom. Because, to be fair, his mom, he's mad at people. He basically hates snitches. Right. If you're going to snitch on him, he's going to kill you.
Yeah.
Or if you try to kill him, he's going to kill you. His mom never snitched. She never said nothing to anyone.
I think it was that he was high off the terrorism part of it. Like the well, not the terrorism part of it, but the striking fear. He was high off the fear. That's what I was trying to say. He was high off the fear.
That's where it comes to superiority. He wants to strike fear in you.
Yeah, and it was almost like you could tell he just got more and more sadistic. The more fearful someone became of him, or the more terrified they were of him. Mm-hmm. So it was like every time he did something that shocked or made them tremble, mm-hmm. he got high off of it almost, and it felt like he was just sort of.
And I mean, he destroyed that house.
Yeah,
just that house had big chunks in it.
Yeah, like he damn
like when the police
it.
pulled up, they were scared shitless.
They didn't even know what to do.
They were like, "What happened?" And of course, the sheriff, trying to be tough, tries to go help, and we don't really see how he dies, but
we know
Brandon basically does his little
flyover and
really quick flyover and just basically tackles him. Yeah. And he's out of the frame. He's out of the movie. We know he's dead.
Yeah, we know. Like it's pretty.
We know he's dead. So the mom comes to a realization that she remembers the cut, and she braces to the barn for the piece. She breaks off the. I'm not even gonna call it metal because I don't know what it is. She breaks off a piece of the ship and puts it behind her. She tucks it behind in her pants,
and hopefully he won't see it. Hopefully he won't see it.
And she tries to like lure him and be like, oh, kind of like how they trick Jason to come to them.
Exactly.
Like, oh, it's Mom.
Exactly like that.
I'm your mom here. It's okay. It's fine. Oh, no. Again, rewind. Rewind. She goes to the barn and finds her sister's mutilated body surrounded by all of his symbols.
Oh, man, that scene was so...
And the reason why I forgot, because it's a pretty quick one.
Yeah,
because they're focused on the mom trying to get him.
Yeah, it's a quick snatch of a scene. Like, it was just so quick.
Yeah. So what happens is she gets the piece of metal, goes in the house, tricks him with the whole, oh, mommy cares about you, I love you, blah, blah, blah. And tries
really hard. I mean, to try and stab him. And it was like...
And she tries so hard, but I'm going to say this. He picks her up and flies her. Mm-hmm. I'm just gonna say to the moon. He flies her very high above the atmosphere,
all the way to the upper atmosphere,
and it is the most poetic killing that I've ever seen in a horror movie.
Because in that moment, it was like he basically thought. Well, not that he thought, or rather, I think he had planned on killing his mom regardless. Mm-hmm. But I think it was in that moment that she couldn't do it. No matter what happened, she still loved him. She still couldn't do it. Yeah. And even though he felt the betrayal of it happening, she still couldn't bring herself to do it, despite the fact that he had done all these horrible things. And then the fact that he was so angry and so felt so betrayed that he couldn't see that in that moment. Mm-hmm. And that was pretty gut-wrenching. The fact that in that moment when he's got her literally by the lapels of her clothes, like he just does it like it's nothing and drops her and she falls to her death. And in that moment is
and then also the airplane.
Oh, that was crazy.
He gets an airplane and he throws it on the barn, and I mean where. He throws it on the barn, basically to cover his tracks.
Yeah, I mean, we don't actually see him do this, but you can tell that, like, as the plane.
He threw that plane.
He had to have.
I don't care what no one says. He either picked it up or he laser beamed that plane down because the plane was missing pieces.
Oh yeah,
that plane was like in thirds or fourths.
Yeah,
by the time it was done, everyone on the plane died, of course, and. I mean, it's a good way to cover some shit up.
I mean, it just looked as if this plane crash pretty much devastated the house and the farm and everything. And it was so, in a way, it felt like, oh, like that was easy. But even watching how he just sort of brushes it off in, like nothing really happened. And then like him sitting there so innocently in the end with just sitting there innocently, like nothing happened. The fact that he's an orphan, the fact that he's killed all these people, including his parents. It was just so creepy. Made you really just kind of go, man, what else is he going to go on to do? So, all in all, man, the kid that they picked, what's his name? Jackson A. Dunn. This kid is just phenomenal at displaying that.
Honestly, I can see him in like one of the Insidious movies, or he just has that creepy look. Mm-hmm. And if he wants to, he has a long career in horror.
Oh yeah,
if he wants to.
I mean, giving Brightburn to him as a big springboard for more. I mean, it was just that level of, like, he was really good at showing just how inhuman he was, and at the same time it still looked innocent. Like, it was like there was something truly insidious going on behind his eyes. But of course, he's just some teen who's just lost his parents, so of course he's gonna play it off like oh, this horrible stuff is happening to me, but you can tell he's the quiet kind of kid. Yeah. So,
and by the way, I don't know if you knew, but this movie was, who it was written by, right?
Yeah, of course, written by James Gunn himself. I mean, dude, we have him to thank for Guardians of the Galaxy.
No, he didn't write it.
What?
Brian Gunn and Mark Gunn, his brothers.
Yes, his brothers. And I know
his brothers wrote it.
And I'm pretty sure that must have been fun. I mean, having your brothers, working with your brothers on a project like that, that's pretty cool. And I mean, I wonder what was it like to pitch that movie to a studio?
Probably easy. Probably easy when your brother is a really famous director and producer.
Yeah, but
you pitch it to your brother, and then your brother does all the heavy lifting.
Pretty much, yeah.
And he gives you the writing credits.
Yeah.
All right, so if you had to give this movie out of 5 stars, what would you give it? Honest opinion.
4.5, hands down. I wanted to give it a 5, but there was something that was kind of needling at me throughout the movie a little bit. The only thing that was kind of needling at me was that I wished we could have seen him struggle a little bit more.
But he's superior.
True, but, mind you, he's spent 10 years with his folks. Had the happiest childhood any child could have. And yes, granted, he was set to get these powers. He was set to become this world taker of sorts. But, there wasn't too much conflict. And I wish we could have seen that a little bit more.
True.
It was too quick, that leap from sweet innocent boy to, oh, I'm going to take it all, and there's nothing any of you can do about it. Basically, it was too much of a quick jump, and I wish we could have seen a bit more. Or I guess whenever he had killed his folks, I mean, just the idea that, like, these are my parents, I can't,
No. Those are not his parents.
True, but these are the people who raised him.
No. He's an alien. He doesn't think the way we think.
Okay.
You can't apply our rules to him.
Okay, fine.
I won't lie. I'll let you get away with a lot of shit, but you're not gonna apply alien rules to our rules.
But I guess it just would have been nice.
Not the same.
But I guess it would have been nice to have seen that tug of war a little bit, of some sort. Yeah. I mean, even if it was like a small, hesitant, move to hurt somebody, like right when I'm getting ready to deliver the final blow, I hesitate for a moment and then go in for it. That would have been nice to have seen.
But he has no mercy.
I know, but it just...
Remember, take the world. Take the world. You think you have time to be hesitant taking over the world?
So what you're saying is he was doomed from the jump. Like, he was going to turn regardless.
It's not he's doomed. It's his prophecy. Prophecy fulfilled. Movie over.
Yeah, no, of course.
Yeah.
But I guess it was just... I
don't feel bad for him. It's his prophecy. If anything, we should be throwing him a party. This is what he was meant to be and what he was meant to do. There's nothing that no one could do to change this.
Okay. All right. So in the end...
I'm giving it 3.5.
3.5?
Because I wish the movie was like 2 hours, 15 minutes.
Oh, so really mostly because of the 90-minute...
Well, basically the same as yours. I want a little bit more detail. I don't know. I don't care about the power struggle or anything.
Yeah.
I just want more details. I want more time to care about these characters.
To kind of flesh it out a bit more.
The only problem I have with a lot of horror movies is that character development Like, we got the mom. The mom got her development.
Right.
The dad, not really.
Not much.
We didn't get to know about it. The aunt definitely know.
Yeah.
We didn't get to see how much he really liked this girl.
I mean,
we only got two scenes of him actually showing affection.
I mean, it was like a budding. It was a budding.
I want to see more. Like I want to see a little bit more. Just a little bit.
Okay, so on the subject of seeing more, of course there are a few extra cut scenes at the very end.
I didn't watch those.
You didn't see those?
No.
Oh man. Okay.
The way I don't even want to know about them.
You don't even want to know?
I don't want them to know about it either.
Okay, fine. They have to go see them.
I'm gonna tell you this right here about this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not directly in the movie, I don't care about it.
Oh man,
it's a cut scene, so I don't want to remember it. It's cut.
Let's just say it's a hell of a tease.
That's fun.
All those cut scenes are a hell of a
tease. And guess what? I don't want those teases.
You don't want
you know how you crazy nerds wait for the end credits. I don't want the end credits. I want that next movie to be the biggest surprise of my life. That's why I still have not watched The Last Jedi.
Really?
I have not watched the trailers. I refuse. I don't even want to watch.
Wait, don't you mean The Rise of Skywalker?
The Rise. I don't. You know what? Look, I'm in horror mode right now. Okay, I'm sorry I can't think of Star Wars right now, but yeah, that's just the type of person I am.
Okay.
I don't care about teasers. I don't care about any of that.
So you'd rather be completely taken
If I see Brightburn 2 coming out next year in 2-3 years, I want to be genuinely shocked and surprised.
Okay, that's fine. All right. There are times where I like to be hyped up by the teases. And
that's because you're a hype beast. Get out of here.
Hype beast? Oh, man. Look. Hype beast. Honestly, if they do decide to do another one, there are so many different ways that they can take it. Hell, they can even focus on creating another character, making another character. And honestly, seeing that unfold and then seeing it expand into a larger universe would be nice. Just to see it start in Brightburn and then end up somewhere else. I mean, that would be cool. Yeah. So it doesn't, and I mean, this might be James Gunn's attempt at, kind of showing DC this can be done. You can do.
But this is a Sony property.
It is, right?
DC will never touch this.
Most likely never.
Because Sony and Marvel are in bed together.
Unfortunately,
that's never going to happen.
Unfortunately, yes.
Now, honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing maybe if Marvel wants to go and take it.
That would be interesting.
To see. I think that would be pretty interesting.
This would be Marvel's attempt at a Superman kind of sort of franchise.
So it didn't do great in the box office. I mean, it made a profit, but it didn't do. Great. And that's what scares me, that it might not have a sequel. It only doubled its money. They took $12 million, they got $32 million. So they a little bit over doubled their money. That's not good for a movie.
No,
Rotten Tomatoes 57%. IMDb 6.2 out of 10. I mean, I see why though. It's a really quick punching movie.
Yeah.
And in order to get those scores up, you really need to. These characters need to matter.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't care about Caitlyn's mom. If anything, I thought she was a bitch anyway. Just from the little that I did see her. I didn't care about his dad. I thought he was kind of a dick.
No,
but that's because I don't know. I don't know. Was he a dick? You don't know either because they ain't showing enough of him.
In my opinion, the story...
And what about the aunt? How you know the aunt wasn't the biggest asshole in the world?
Well, the whole
we don't. It wasn't enough time.
Even still, though, the whole point was just to... For such a quick-paced movie, they didn't have to go too much in depth, but at the same time, I would have liked it more had they focused more on, fleshing out the mom and the dad. I mean, granted, I do love how the actor and the actress played the mom and dad really well. They played them really well to a point where you can feel that push and pull between them. That whole, I really love our son, but at the same time, you gotta open your eyes. He's doing some hinky shit, So that push and pull would have been I mean, they did a really great job with
they
did. Small
I give them credit for a small amount of time. They did a good job, but I still want more.
Of course.
Feed me more,
basically.
James Gunn.
At the rate he's going,
that's like when you hear your favorite rap song, but it's only a minute long. We just talked about this earlier.
Yes, that's right.
It sucks. I want the full explosion.
Wow. Hinting at something else there?
Nah, don't know what you're talking about. This is a horror podcast.
Whatever. Anyway.
Sorry, can't talk about that.
So all in all, we feel Brightburn was really, really good, but at the same time, it just wasn't enough. It wasn't enough to make us want to badly, hope badly that there is a sequel in the works. I mean, we want.
I would like to see a sequel, just a longer sequel. Don't give me if it's another 90-minute movie, I'm not watching it.
Oh, come on! I'd still go see it. Even
I'm not watching it. If it's 91 minutes, I might watch it.
91.
That 1 minute means something.
I'm sure.
But
yes,
Chris.
Yes.
With that being said, I personally think you overranked it, but that's neither here nor there. Some people might think I underranked it. Let us know who was right. Who do you think was right? We had a lot of the same comments about the movie, except for some reason Fanboy over here gets he gets a little pass because he's new to this little horror thing.
Well, I'm more of
looking like a little cutie.
Shut up! I'm more of a superhero comic book kind of fan. So
yeah.
So in all fairness, watching this movie, I got to see that Red Sun storyline kind of play out a bit in this fashion. So it felt good watching this movie and getting an opportunity to see someone go, it can be done. If you try it, if you do it a different way, it can be done. Mm-hmm. So basically tell us your thoughts. Tell us what you think. Tell us if we're wrong, if we're both wrong, or one of us is right, or if the other isn't. Just give us some ideas. Give us some ideas on what you feel about the movie.
And don't forget, please like, comment, subscribe. If you didn't know, there's a little notification bell. You should press that so every time we upload, you can watch it. And if you don't, well, you can fuck off. Make sure you have a demented day. See you guys later.